Okay, welcome back from the break here on the Metal Command podcast. Tony here with you. Let's talk about Helloween's brand new single, "A Little Is a Little Too Much." Many of you have asked me what I think about the video and what do I think about the single. And I've also had many questions asking me about my opinion of the physical product. What do I think about the vinyl variants they put out and the quality of, the pressings, and what do I think of the earbook? And I've had a lot of questions asking me about what I think about the bonus material, and what any other question I ended up getting, which was interesting. I actually had quite a few of these asking me, what do I think about how the album has been received and promoted compared to other Helloween albums? And I thought that was a very interesting question. It was interesting that a lot of you asked me about this. So I'm going to talk about all of that here in this segment of the episode. So let's first talk about the single. As many of you have watched or listened to, I had a video talking about the album. I did a review on the album, a pretty in-depth review as well. That is in the show notes in case you missed it. But in that review, I said "A Little Is a Little Too Much" would be an excellent single for this album. And great minds must think alike, because that's exactly what they did. And they also have a video to go along with it. The video is kind of funny. It really symbolizes what that song is all about. And I just think that the video made me laugh, actually, watching it, because this band does have a sense of humor. And I thought the video was perfect for this specific song. But again, it's a straight-ahead hard rock song in the formula that Andy Darris has used for the last, 31 years in this band, and even going back to his days in Pink Cream 69. It's short, it's straight to the point, it's catchy, and the best part about this track is the fact that Andy and Michael are trading off vocal lines in this song. So I think it's a great single. I mean, it really isn't much more to talk about as far as that goes. Many people have said to me, a while back, especially a lot of journalists, they like this song better than "This Is Tokyo." That is, even in some of the discussions I've had on other podcasts that I've been a guest on, that's a general consensus from most of the journalists out there. So this track has gone over really well with a lot of people, and I think the song is fantastic. So with that said, now let's get into the earbook and the vinyl pressings that they have put out. So right here, these are the vinyl pressings that I have. I ended up getting the yellow and black splatter vinyl. The picture disc, of course, you always have to get that. And a light blue variant, as well as the ocean blue. That is, I believe, the U.S. exclusive from RPM. There are other variants. Under the Moonlight Blue is exclusive through their store. I do have a copy of that hopefully coming soon, but the whole tariff situation is preventing that from getting shipped to me. That's no fault of the Helloween store. It's just DHL isn't shipping to the U.S. because of that. So hopefully that gets resolved very soon. And then there's a few other variants. You have one that's like an all yellow variant, pretty much. There's like a green and then a purple and yellow, I believe. And there's like a green and white variant. I do not have those, but these are the four that I ended up picking up. And then we have the earbook, which is right here. I want to give a shout out to Raining Phoenix Music for the high quality of in the materials of which they actually make a lot of this stuff with. I even say that about the live at Budokan. That pressing, the quality of the vinyl and the packaging is awesome. And I think this earbook is great. And even other bands they have with RPM, as well as, Roar, which is a subsidiary of theirs, and of course they got Perception. The quality of the merchandise, the physical merchandise they are putting out is awesome. Just absolutely, I can't speak any more highly of it than I am right now. But the earbook is cool. So inside of it, you got the band photos. Now, what's cool is I'm going to show this to all of you. You have sketches, the pumpkin sketches. My buddy Marco Smira, big shout out to him from South America. I've known him through the internet for like close to 30 years. He's a tremendously talented artist, and he is a huge Helloween fan, and he's very good at like the old school pumpkin sketches, and all of his look great. So you have a lot of that, in here. And as you get further into it, they got this really cool like centerfold type thing going on with the artwork. I mean, it looks really, really cool. And then you have a part of this where the band members get to make their own statement about the album, and then have photos of them. So it's a really, really well done, well put together book. And I think it's really well done. It's got kind of a matte cover. There's no glossiness to it, which I actually like quite a bit. And then, of course, we have the bonus material, which is something you have all asked me about. So you have Out of Control, and in 3 versions, alternate versions of the song Into the Sun. You have a version with just Andy Darris singing. You have a version which just has Michael Kiske singing. And then you have the acoustic version of the song. And then, of course, you have the song Out of Control, written by Marcus Grauskopf. So that was actually not on the regular Jewel Case edition, but Out of Control appears on the Digipack, and it appears on the vinyl pressing of the album. All the vinyl pressings, from what I gather, when I could see. So that song is of course interesting. Now, the other thing is people asking me, why does Helloween always have lots of bonus tracks? That has been a question sent to me quite a few times, and I've answered this over the years. The way that the band operates is that they kind of go into their own studios and write their material. They get a bunch of songs together, and then they pick a bunch of these songs and they record them, and then they kind of figure out, okay, which songs fit the best together. So I'll give you an example. Like, you might have Wyke writing 6 or 7 tracks. He might submit them all. The band maybe picks 3 of them, and then maybe they pick 2 that actually go on the record. Something along those lines. And then you have leftover tracks that either A, get used on other albums, because maybe they don't fit this album quite well. And that's typically what happens. So if you look at the band's history, they've always had lots of bonus tracks. Let me give you some examples. Look at Time of the Oath. I think Time of the Oath actually has the most songs they ever put out for one album session. I think it's 20. Now, a few of those are covers. You had the Judas Priest cover, and you had a few covers on there. You had the Status Quo cover with Rain. So they had a lot of covers on those. Master of the Rings, too. They put out 18 studio tracks, and there were some covers on the bonus tracks as well. And you just look at, like, Seven Sinners had 16 songs recorded for it, and I believe 3 of those were bonus tracks. I think Aiming High was used as the bonus track if you bought the iTunes version of the album. Then you had, I think Free was a B-side used for the Are You Metal single, and then you obviously had the Japanese bonus track there as well. I know with Gambling with the Devil, they had a lot of bonus tracks. They had actually one bonus track for each version in each region of the world. So they use those tracks for a variety of purposes. I know on the last album, a lot of people were disappointed that the song Golden Times was not used on the album. But the bottom line is that they have great bonus material, and in many cases, people are incentivized to buy the better editions or the bigger edition of the album because of the bonus material, because they've always had pretty high quality bonus tracks ever since the band has existed. So as far as these bonus tracks are concerned, they really didn't have a lot, to be honest. You had 3 alternate versions of one song and one other studio track that was written by Marcus Grauskopf. So really quick, Out of Control, that song is pretty much exclusively sung by Kai Hansen. And the song is actually very, very good, but I can understand why they didn't put it on the album, because even though the song is good, it doesn't quite fit in with the flow of these other songs on this record, but it does make a good bonus track. So it's a little different than pretty much anything that's on the record, but definitely a great bonus song, bonus track. And again, that song appears on the Digipack version of the album, all of the versions of the album on vinyl, and of course, this earbook. Now, these 3 alternate versions of Into the Sun are exclusive to the earbook. So, I mean, the ones with just the songs with just Andy singing on it, and then you have the one song with Michael Kiske singing on it. There really is no difference aside from the fact it's just one vocalist singing on the song. I mean, it's the same exact song, except you just have the vocals from one person on it. And then you have the acoustic version, which is really cool. I was looking at the credits. Oliver Hartman plays the acoustic guitar. Oliver Hartman, of course, many of you may remember as the singer for the band At Vance at one point. A very good singer, and obviously he's associated with Avantasia. But overall, I think these alternate versions are pretty cool to listen to. I personally like the one that's on the album better. But this bonus track, Out of Control, is really, really cool. And the earbook is really, really well illustrated. They did a great job at putting it together. The materials it's made out of are high quality. Definitely big props to Raining Phoenix Music for doing a tremendous job on the earbook itself. Now, many of you have asked, how do I feel the album was received in comparison to other Helloween albums? I mean, I could sit here and compare how all of them have been received, over the years. Let me just say this. I think overall, the feelings on this record are almost, I'd say 90% positive. There are people that don't like aspects of it, but I would say this album has received more positive reviews than even the last album that came out, the self-titled album. And again, as I've said, this album flows better. It feels a little better. Again, I discussed that in the review that I did. And even in the interview I did with Andy Darris back in December 2024, he alluded to that. But I think the reception to the album has been very, very good. And definitely more positive than the self-titled release. Now, with that said, I do want to say one thing about this record and the way that it was promoted. In 27 years, now I've followed the band longer than that, but I have had experience in seeing how all of their past albums have been received. I've seen that firsthand in the late 90s and early to mid 2000s. I have never seen so much press for them in the USA, here in the United States, ever, than I have for this record. I have seen more podcasts with an interview by this band than I think I have ever seen. And they were on podcasts that had very small followings and even podcasts with very large followings. But nevertheless, because there were so many interviews, the strategy in promoting this album was very, very good. Get as many interviews out there as you can. Get as much press out there as you can. And man, I have not seen this band's name. I have not seen Helloween's name in my YouTube feed or social media feed as much as I have for this album cycle. And I think that's a testament to the publicists that, did the promotional work here in the States, in North America. It really is. Now, you obviously had interviews from, people in Europe and South America and everywhere else. But in the United States, and the reason I'm bringing this up, because this has always been the weakest market for this band. I have never seen as much press for this band here in the States, at least as long as I've been around, as I have seen for this album cycle. So I think, personally, they did the best job on this album. The press was, in my opinion, for this album cycle is far better than any other album they have ever done that I've at least been around for. And I could speak to that from experience. So props to the management for getting the right people in place to promote this band here in the States. Like I said, you had some small podcasts with interviews from this band, all the way to people like Chris Jericho, who's a diehard Helloween fan, named his finishing move after the band's first album. Obviously had Michael Kiske on his podcast. But however you want to look at it, I have never seen, not only just here in the States, from podcasts here in the States, but even around the world, I have never seen this band's name in the algorithms, in my feed, as much as I have now. And social media has been around for 20 years now, starting off with MySpace. But man, the promotion for this record is outstanding. And I'll just leave it at, hey, it's Tony here from the Metal Command Show. I want to thank you for watching this portion of the program. Since 1998, I have hosted the show, which started off as a radio program and is now into the podcast format. So I want to thank you for watching and or listening. And if you want to support the program, hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I do post any content. A lot of you have been supporting the show and really, really helping this show grow, and I cannot do it without all of you. So with that said, thanks for watching. Stay metal.